Welcome to the Pimp My Setup highlights for episode number 177. The first setup of the day was submitted by Kenneth, the speaker. You know, the left one's good. The right one, though, he knows if he points it to the left, it's just going to go towards the computer anyway. So he's like, I might as well just let it go the other way. But obviously that defeats the purpose of having a right speaker. You have the long Linmon, so you need the leg in the middle. And that's kind of like why you pushed yourself to the left a little bit, but also to make room for the PC. But by doing so, it just looks a little odd. It looks a little bit off. It's just sort of like a all over the place setup. And like a lot of people said, you're going to want to put the PC on the floor at the end of the day, even though it's not like you got NZXT Plus rocking on there. So if you did, I'd be like, oh, you want the light show. Kenneth scored 70. The next setup was submitted by Will. He's 8 years old.
He's a fucking ultra wide. What's going on here?
Yeah,
he has so much equipment. How is he 8 years old?
You know, I like what you're going for, but you know, yes, you put the power strip and stuff to the bottom of the desk, but you got to complete the puzzle. You know, you can't just open the puzzle. You got to put the pieces in order. And then also having the two computers. Yes, it's badass. You know, you got the one on the Corsair case. You're 8. I mean, that's insane. But then you also have like the pre-built one. Do you need both? Speaking of usability, I think that's another huge issue. The monitor arrangement is just awful. What you need to do is get the monitor situated, put the ultra wide dead center, have the other one off to the side. And the out of sight, out of mind is not good at all. You have way too much on your desk. You need to really take the clutter elsewhere. Will scored a 54. The next setup was submitted by Andrew. You have no theme. You're lacking, I think, in accessories. My main problem is you're sitting there and your monitor is not centered to the desk you built. You built the desk. You cannot blame the manufacturer for building a desk that doesn't let you mount the arm where you want it. It's a clean slate. So I definitely think, you know, you have to figure out that. Andrew scored a 74. The next setup was submitted by Christian. Breaking it down category by category. Usability, you sit there, it's nice. Out of sight, out of mind, yes, but it's not always a good thing. You know, out of sight, out of mind doesn't mean nothing on your desk. It means just things that you use on a daily basis. So accessories, he's going to lose points here because he doesn't have everything a normal setup would. We don't see speakers. I like what he's going for. Yes, LEDs will definitely help. Yes, you know, adding a headphone stand will add points to accessories. Those are great things to do. I just feel like the desk is lacking a little bit of love, a little bit of like what you're going for, because in the first photo we see you have that shelf off to the double shelf off to the left. That's cool. It does look a little cramped there though. So maybe, you know, take something down, put it on the left side, take something down, put it on the right side. Christian scored an 84. The next setup of the day was submitted by Alan. Your very old desk that your mom probably bought you, and he did a great job with it. Obviously, if I had to make, you know, a recommendation to the next step for this setup, I would say a new desk. But I think using what you have now, it's not hindering your score. I think you're fine. The only thing it might be hurting is just the stuff on top. Hard to do a theme. Alan scored a 78. The next setup was submitted by Garrett. But yeah, I think this setup is another one where maybe if you look at the next photo, the hutch could hurt, but also help. You know, it's a little cramped. I think the boxes, especially on the top. Now, he also has books holding up his main monitor, which I'm not a fan of.
Get a new desk.
I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't think it's awful. I just don't think it's got a wow factor. Garrett scored a 72. The next setup was submitted by Eric. Can we cancel out the background? Just everything but the desk and what's on the desk. That's a great setup. Okay, now cancel out the desk and look at everything else. Way too cluttered. The shelves are just way too much, dude. So much. I think it's a confusing setup because the back takes away from how simple and nice and neat and usable the actual setup is. Eric scored an 80. The next setup of the day was submitted by Jack. He wants to do audio engineering, but I feel like the placement of the speakers is not like, look how far pushed over the one on the left is, and look how close the one on the right is to the, and then like his monitor is more to the right side than it is to the left. So I feel like he just needs to like put everything back into the center and like really just push the speakers to where they should be. I just think theme kind of killed it. There's nothing, it's just so bland. It's pretty straightforward. Jack scored a 72. The next setup was submitted by Dean. He was on episode 54. Now look at it. Yeah. Cable management. There's a lot of cables. They're gone. They're off the floor, which is a nice thing. I bet that feels good for him. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of boxes. He's got it hanging on hooks. The wool art there, really, really nice. The guitar, all that stuff is really cool and personal. I like it. Like, I don't think it's awful, but I think my main thing with this is it's too much. It's a hard one because it feels like there's still like out of sight, out of mind. He can clean it up a little bit. but I'm not sure how I feel about the right monitor hanging off the desk completely like that, hanging off completely to the right side for usability. Is it super usable? Can you see the full screen moving your head? That's what I'm wondering. The before and after is just night and day. I mean, that looks like shit. And you go to that, I mean, that's just like way better utilization of such a small amount of space. Dean scored an 86. The next setup was submitted by Alex. Love, hate, love, hate. So simple, yet I feel like the simplicity killed it by putting the receiver on the ground. I mean, yes, it's not directly on the carpet, but and you have the room on your desk. You know, having speakers that big, that's your first downfall. You have the corner monitor and it looks lopsided, but I think that's just a photo. It's the desk, mainly the desk. If the desk was bigger, you wouldn't have that issue because your mouse pad shouldn't be that close to the monitors. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely need something there that's going to kind of determine your theme, because as of right now, I don't really know what your theme would even be. Alex scored an 80. The final setup of the day was submitted by Teemu. He's been on episode 55 and episode 72. I don't know if he's still in Spain for his new setup, but I think he's in a new house. Here is his new setup. Holy shit! What? Say what? You would probably say, how could it get any better? Look at the cable management. Look at the overall sexualness. I had a thing where I went to the third photo and I just kind of lost my boner for a second because Tom doesn't like that. The reason I say that is because if you look at behind the PC, I feel like maybe this is just like not a forever thing. Like maybe it was temporary to the point where he just didn't finish. You just like gotta take those cables and Velcro them or cable wrap. I would literally have given this a freaking 100, bro. It's a beautiful, beautiful setup, and I just wish we didn't get that last photo. That was the other thing. Speakers. I was looking at the score. I gave him 8 for accessories because he has everything except speakers. Teemu scored at 92 and walked away with first place. Thanks for watching the Pimp My Setup highlights for episode number 177.